Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Before we get started, we can ask you to please like and subscribe. It'll help us out a lot so we can keep making these videos. So today I'm joined once again by the mechanical engineer.
Hey there.
So I think we've done about 20 lessons now, so I feel like you're starting to get a good grasp of, basic syntax and terminology and things like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So for today's mini lesson, I think we're actually going to ask you another. We did FizzBuzz before, so I'll ask you another pretty interesting kind of phone screen type question where I'm going to ask you to basically check and return true or false if a string is a palindrome. So you know what a palindrome is, right?
Yes, it's a number that's the same backwards as it is forwards, or a string, I guess.
A string, yeah. We're going to assume it's a string. So yeah, it's like race car, stuff like that. That's like the common one. So why don't we just get started? Why don't you start by just creating a function called isPalindrome. And then this will take in a string. You can just use S. All right, cool. So now I'm going to kind of be hands-off for this one. So I want to hear your thought process. So if you were asked this question to code up a solution to return true or false if a string is a palindrome, what would be your thought process?
Sure. So in terms of coding, I would say that you need to check if the first letter is, or the first whatever letter or number in the string is the same as the last letter or number. Then you're going to kind of have to iterate through the entire string and check all those conditions.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think we have to assign some variables. For example, like the front can be equal to 0, and then the end can be equal to, the length of voting subtract 1 because S is going to
be 0. Yeah, to get the make sure we start at 0 indexing and stuff. Yep.
Indexing, yeah, that's the terminology.
All right, so these are our indexes, right?
Yeah, and then you could do like a bunch of if statements, but those would just go on forever. So I think we probably want a while loop here. And we want this to run for as long as front is less than end, I think. Because that means we're still on the left side. The front is the left side and end is the right side of the palindrome.
Yeah, they're going to like walk their way into each other, basically?
Yeah, from the first and last towards the middle.
Yeah.
And then probably want an if statement in here. So if front, maybe it's the other way. It's one of these two.
That means not equals, yeah.
Not equals, got it. Okay. If front is not equal to end, return false.
Okay.
And then we're going to want to add 1 to the front and subtract 1 from end, right?
Yep. Okay.
And then if this gets through all of it, then it's going to be true. So I think we want a return condition being true, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think of, since we don't really have an else here, I wonder if we need a condition somewhere to make sure this doesn't like run forever. But like most common cases, like race car and then any number will probably be fine.
Yeah, so what if I gave you like an empty string or something?
Yeah, so we probably want like an if statement somewhere saying if S, or if the length of S is less than, or can you do less than or equal to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the length will ever be less than, but
yeah,
so
true.
probably just double equal, yeah.
Or should it be 1? Because is 1 a palindrome?
Let's say 1 is a palindrome, actually.
Okay, so let's do 0 then. So that this will catch anything wrong.
So see how it's complaining on line 2 there?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, you have 1 equals, right? What does 1 equal mean?
Double equals for comparison, yeah. Okay.
Now, the only thing that I see now is on line 9 there. So what
Oh,
are
wait.
front and end?
Line 9. Oh, front and end aren't the actual numbers. So we want S front, right? Because that'll give us the value of S and S end.
Yep. All right, cool. So why don't you call this below it, and let's test it out, see what we get.
Palindrome, you said race car is a good one?
Yeah, I know that one.
You know this one works. True.
There you go.
All right, let's try out something else.
So now try it with a fail case. We'll see if we...
False. Okay.
All right. And then what about like something of length 1? So just like the letter R. Or that, yeah. That's... All right.
True.
And then what about empty string?
Oh, this should be false. False.
All right, nice. All right, yeah, so this is a good solution here. Yeah, test it with that. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it looks like you have a complete solution here. So
Sweet.
you have 2 pointers that point to the front and the end, and they walk towards each other. And if they meet each other, that means that at no point they didn't equal each other. So we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So now there is a way to do. You can keep line 16 because we'll just rewrite the function now. So there's a more Pythonic way, and that is a term you'll probably hear if you start looking online. So why don't you delete the meat of the function and we can rewrite it? And I bet you we can do this with 1 line.
Okay.
So do you remember slicing at all?
Yes, you
List
can.
and string slicing?
Yeah, you can like slice in the middle of a list or a string and then move to the end or to the front, right?
Yeah, so you can start at an element and then kind of say I want from 6 to the end or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you can actually do a lot more with slicing. There's like 3 different I guess I'll call them parameters, but just 3 pieces of syntax really that allow you to maneuver lists and strings in very creative ways. Mm-hmm. So one way you could do that is you can actually basically do what we're trying to do, which is check the reverse, and then you can just do a comparison of the input string with its reverse. So to do that, you can just return here. And then we're going to say if S is equal to the reverse of S. So you can, because this expression will evaluate to true or false, you can just return it. And then, yeah, so there is reverse, but the type of that is kind of weird. So this will actually return false if you try to do that. So instead of using reverse, we can use slicing. So you can actually just type, I'll just tell you the syntax here. It's S, and then a bracket, a square bracket. And then you can do : -1. So this basically says, get everything, start at the end, and work your way forwards. And then this will evaluate to a new list, or a new string, I'm sorry. So S of this is a whole new string, and we are comparing the reverse of S with S, which is our input. So why don't you run that? We'll see what we get.
True.
There you go. So yeah, let's test some fail cases here.
Okay.
Start with. Yeah. So there you go. So basically, what that says there with the colons is everything starting at the end, crawl back by 1 from right to left, and then that gets assigned to a new string, which is important to remember. And then we compare that new string, which is assigned with that, or which is basically declared with that, and we are checking for equality with the input string.
So when you say it's like kind of being reassigned to a new string, it's kind of like saying, like, could we, like, it's kind of like saying that, correct?
Yeah, run that. Let's see what we get.
Let me put something. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, you don't need to use like 10 variables everywhere because it's doing the same thing basically. But yeah, so you did that one pretty quickly. That actually is a a pretty common question, and there's a lot of extensions to this question too. So a lot of times they'll say like avoid punctuation, because right now we would, if say you put a period at race car, then you would have to basically put a period at the front. And sometimes a follow-up question will be like, what if we want to completely just avoid or just ignore all punctuation and just check for characters, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of extensions to this, but getting to that initial solution that you did with the 2 pointers it's really good that you can get to that quickly. So
Awesome.
So yeah, well, good job with this one.
Cool. Thank you.